Hello there, my name is Troy Kinsey. Welcome back to our training series, Service Management Essentials. In this series, we discuss how to assess and mature how organizations deliver and support services. In this module, we describe how to assess an organization's ability to drive and accommodate change. We also discuss structured decision-making through governance. Towards the end of this module, we're going to discuss several methods to help an organization facilitate and manage change. Now, as we discussed in the previous module, OCM, or Organizational Change Management, and Service Management Maturity Assessment both play an important part of the discovery process. We're going to address OCM and governance in this module, and then we'll discuss an approach to assessing service management maturity in Module 4. We're going to subsequently use the information in these modules, these discovery modules, to create a roadmap and subsequent schedule or schedules in Module 5. So lesson 1, what is OCM and what is governance? Let's start with definitions to make sure we're on the same page. So what is OCM, what is governance, and what's the difference between these two methodologies? Both of these pertain to driving change in an organization, but they serve different purposes. So OCM is all about engaging and driving change through various means and methods such as training, coaching, end-state visualizing workshops, and other means. And now the key here is engagement. How do we ensure that those driving and those impacted by change are properly engaged and prepared to change? The purpose of OCM is to help the organization engage and motivate teams and drive and accommodate change. Now, when we refer to governance, we're referring to the formalized decision-making, escalation management, and communications processes. Because we're going to be proposing and making a number of changes to accountabilities, processes, and increasing visibility to what's working and what's not through metrics and other means, there's likely to be a level of pushback from individual contributors, managers, and directors alike. As such, leaders must be able to and willing to step in and help the project teams traverse these political hurdles. Now, we can help organizations facilitate and accommodate change by providing mechanisms and processes to facilitate decision-making. Both of these involve various forms of communication and are critical to the success of service management improvement initiatives. So why is OCM important? Okay, so why should we take the time to assess OCM? OCM is often overlooked, but is a very important aspect to any service management improvement initiative. Many improvement initiatives actually fail or don't achieve their desired outcomes because the organization is not really accustomed to and not really prepared to lead and accommodate change. Some organizations have established OCM processes and mechanisms to help facilitate change. By understanding what's historically held the organization back and what those challenges are, we can put structures and processes in place to add to what currently exists to help an organization's ability to change. Also, we can and should craft our roadmap and schedules to accommodate the organization's current maturity level and to incorporate those structures and processes we put in place. Again, we're going to tackle roadmaps and schedules in Module 5. For now, let's discuss several indicators we can use to evaluate an organization's readiness and capacity for adopting and implementing changes effectively. So, assessing OCM maturity. There are various indicators we can use to assess the OCM maturity of an organization. Now, these include leadership commitment. So the level of commitment and support from senior leadership is crucial for a successful change implementation. Leaders must be actively involved, promote the importance of service management, and allocate resources where necessary to support the change initiative. Each of the leaders must have a solid understanding of their role, the program's objectives, and their expected and required level of engagement. Also, they should help inspire and be inspired, and as mentioned previously, help the team traverse the inevitable political hurdles. Clear vision and strategy. An organization needs a well-defined strategy for service management. Now, this includes setting goals, defining objectives, and outlining desired outcomes, and this is really important. Without a clear understanding of the desired end state, an organization will likely need to continually retrain and realign staff, resulting in confusion and misdirected activities. A coherent and well-communicated strategy will help align stakeholders and provide direction. Clearly visualizing and articulating outcomes is a central theme throughout this course, and it's important to take the time to paint a clear picture. What does this mean based on a clear understanding of where we are and where we're headed? This is also why it's important to adopt a standardized approach to maturity assessment. Now we'll discuss a practical method of assessing the service management ecosystem in the next module, Module 4, as we mentioned. Structures and processes. Engagement can and really should be enabled through both synchronous and asynchronous methods. So what do we mean by that? Synchronous refers to regularly planned scheduled activities such as meetings, training, coaching opportunities, newsletters, and other scheduled methods of engagement. Whereas asynchronous refers to providing stakeholders with the ability to ask questions ad hoc, provide and receive counsel outside of any regularly scheduled meetings, activities, or other forms of engagement. So are accountable owners assigned to answer questions and provide guidance? A key concept associated with OCM is the assignment of change champions. The idea is that individuals who are going to undergo the same changes are provided special training information so that they can assist their colleagues and other stakeholders. Now, this is an example of helping to pull individuals in the right direction versus just having the organization push. Regardless, it's important to outline roles and responsibilities to create structures and processes dedicated to change control. One last thought with regards to OCM structures and processes. As we will also discuss in Module 5, it's important that we create and implement an OCM plan that's tightly integrated with the overall program or project plan. Leaders should look for opportunities to communicate progress, continually articulate next steps, and celebrate milestones. Change readiness and adaptability. Assessing an organization's current readiness for change is crucial. This involves evaluating the current culture. How willing is the organization and its employees to embrace change, learn and adopt to new processes, methods, and technologies? How ready is the organization to identify and address challenges and really try new things? Interestingly enough, there are patterns of behavior typically associated with each maturity level. Now, we discuss this in more detail in the guidebook, and we'll include a link in the description below. When we discuss making changes to the organization, what type of feedback do we receive? So are teams generally positive and receptive, or is there a sense of fear, reluctance, and maybe even dread? Do we hear statements questioning why or when the organization needs to change? These are common phrases heard in less mature organizations. So how are we going to dedicate the time while servicing our existing customers? Why change our current delivery and support processes? They seem to be working just fine as they are. How is it or will it be possible to change to meet the outlined objectives? Or instead, do we get more positive, eager, and solution-oriented questions, such as, will we receive training and coaching? How do I or how can I versus why or what do I or should I? And don't get me wrong here, any level of engagement and questioning really should be actively encouraged. We want to hear and be able to respond to legitimate inquiries, regardless of what they are. However, we do want to continue to stay abreast of current perspectives, mood, and the behavior of the team. Communication and stakeholder engagement. So are there currently effective communication methods and strategies in place to inform and engage stakeholders throughout each step of the change process? Another recurrent theme of this course is ensuring open and transparent communications and continual collaboration across all stakeholders. Now, this reflects back on our earlier discussion regarding roles, responsibilities, as well as our OCM planning, training and skill development. So are there adequate training, coaching, and mentoring opportunities made available to help employees adapt to new changes? Regular in-house training can be a fantastic tool to engage, entice, and excite teams and individuals. Performance measurement and continual improvement. Throughout this course, we discuss the importance of moving to a culture of performance measurement and continual improvement. So how does the organization embrace the use of metrics and key performance indicators, or KPIs? Are they established to track progress, identify areas for improvement, and drive organizational learning? Are they visible? Are they made transparent? Change history and lessons learned. Examining the organization's past change initiatives can prove invaluable in terms of getting insights into the ability to adapt. Assessing how previous changes were implemented, the challenges encountered, and the lessons learned can help identify patterns and areas for improvement in future endeavors. And we can use these indicators to evaluate an organization's ability to drive and embrace change. So methods and approach to mitigate changes. The following are some thoughts on what leaders can do to set the organization up for a successful change initiative. So first and foremost, paint a clear visual picture of what success will look like. Now, this picture should resonate with all stakeholders, so it may make sense to use various medium and methods to illustrate or visualize end state. It's important to be as detailed and as descriptive as possible. So walk through example scenarios to help everyone clearly understand and visualize future state. Now, this is where use cases come in handy, and we'll include a link to a Coffee Thoughts video below. Next, strive for transparency. Articulate clearly and simply how the organization is going to achieve success and work to instill confidence. Provide opportunities and requirements for training and coaching. Again, we'll discuss how to incorporate into a roadmap that makes sense for the organization, but we really want to create an OCM plan that includes both synchronous and asynchronous opportunities for individuals and teams to become better engaged and learn more about what the organization is doing and why they're doing it. And next is incorporate various methods and means to involve and engage stakeholders who have various perspectives, concerns, and interests. Most importantly, work to make the experience as fun, inspiring, and as engaging as possible. Now, with regards to governance, as we mentioned earlier, there are a number of decisions that must be made when it comes to service management improvement. So let's talk about that, approach to governance. We've discussed the importance of governance to facilitate formal decision-making, escalation management, and communications. And we discussed governance in more detail in the guidebook. Again, we'll put a link into that in the description below, and in a Coffee Thoughts video, we'll put a link to that too. But here's some highlights. More often than not, organizations seeking to mature their service management organizations are often fairly well constrained when it comes to making decisive and timely organizational decisions. This is typically not due to leadership, but rather to the culture of the organization itself. Quite simply, most organizations really are not set up to make the types of organizational decisions we're talking about quickly and efficiently. And this is where it can be liberating to establish a governance body that has a definitive scope and set of guidelines to make certain types of decisions. Now, from a tactical standpoint, I recommend holding weekly governance sessions, say on Thursdays, structuring how pending decisions are to be presented so they're consistent, and then having those delivered to the governance committee at least 24 hours in advance. Providing clear guidelines as to how decisions are going to be made, and this makes it relatively straightforward for both those submitting the decisions and those making them. Subsequent to these governance meetings, the decisions should then be communicated out to stakeholders. So why does this often help with the decision-making process? Well, primarily because the scope is contained and the criteria for decision-making is clear. This concludes this module. In the next module, we're going to outline an approach to assess the maturity of a service management ecosystem or department. Hopefully you found this video informative and useful. Please click all the buttons and pull or push all the YouTube levers, knobs. It really helps get the word out, helps the channel, and you'll be notified when we distribute our next video. Also, if you're willing to do so, please share your own experiences and thoughts in the comments below. Until then, we'll see you in the next video. Thank you for your time and have a fantastic day. Bye-bye now.